Welcome back, everyone. I'm Zell, and today we're going to get a look at what's inside the wee Practic. Alright, it's a wee knife, so, excuse me, we know a couple of things. First thing is, all we should need is, I'm hoping I got the right one, let's see. Yep, a T8. Might need a couple of them, I bet we've got a sleeve right there, but we'll start with just a T8. That pocket clip's going to come off because I'm almost positive that's going down into the liner. So we'll pull that guy free. And we'll go ahead and look at the screws while we're here. Because you guys, there we go. Nice and tight. I mean, wee screws. We are going to keep track of the length of these screws. It's the first time I've had one of these apart, so you never know on these things. Sometimes you can end up with several different lengths of screws. Yep, those two are different, so I'm going to stick them back in the Practic so that, or back in the pocket clip, so that I don't get them in the wrong place later on. We've got one body screw right here. Pull it out. We probably ought to open the knife so we don't get that springy action getting us. And we're going to pull out our pivot. And there we go. Unless we got some pins somewhere in here, we should be pretty close to getting this guy apart. Maybe. There we go. Got to be a little patient. Maybe. There we go. There it is. See, our actual pivot barrel is going all the way through this well-blued piece of stainless. I mean, look at that. That is blue through and through. And look at all of that lightning. That's where we got that really light weight on this thing. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was just kind of ridiculous for the size of the knife. And now I see our problem. It is our stop pin is very, very snug in there. That's one of the things that we does quite well. I have to walk that off there a little bit, see if I can't. Yep, very, very snug. Swap our bits out here. Go to slightly bigger flathead. See if we can't get this thing to... Great, now I get the flathead bit stuck. This isn't going too well, guys. Alright, I think we're free of the lock bar now, or of the stop pin now. Now we just gotta walk it off of the... Wow. That's something else. That was snug in there, which is a good thing. A very good thing. Now, I want you to look at something right here before we get into the handle. They have counterbored the blade on both sides. So what does that mean? Everybody always, oh, you using big words. I'm sorry. Counterbore simply means a flat-bottomed hole for something to set in. And that's what we've got. There's two flat-bottomed holes for that set of bearings to set in. And that allows the knife just to be that much thinner, you know, however deep those two little recesses are, and hides those bearings in to keep them cleaner. Freaking awesome. Anyhow, get a look at our blade real quick, and, you know, there you go. It's a very, very good looking little blade. There's our lock interface. Our stop pin stops on either side. Very nice. Get a look at this liner, and man, that is just pretty. I am really impressed with what we has done here. I don't know what process they're using for these, but man, it's nice. And see, now that stop pin just wants to pop right out of there. Still, man, that's a well done stop pin, but you know, we've had some fusses in some of these disassemblies about stop pins that just wiggle all over the place. Well, here's the wee stop pin. It ain't, it wiggles a little bit, but not much. There's our pivot, and let's get our magnet out here. I don't know how well we can tell with that, but oh yeah, there we go. See if both sides. Oh, well, there we go. Now we know. So, this side of the pivot is stainless. It's just like a regular Wii pivot, and actually that is threaded on, so this may be titanium. Give me just a second. I got to get some fancy tools out and get that thing off of there. All right. So, fancy tools, right? I said fancy tools, and they are kind of fancy tools. It's a set of soft-jawed pliers, and I put the pivot barrel over in the vise behind me that you guys have saw on the Apex News. So let's try this. Titanium. So, I wasn't sure when I did the review, but now I am. All the hardware in this knife is titanium. The pocket clip is titanium. I'm not sure what the official Wii stuff says, but these look like standard Wii bearings, so ceramic bearings and ceramic little ball and detent. G10 backspacer, and man, this is just a really, really well put together little knife. I'm rather impressed with the way they have chosen to put it together and the processes. I want to know what this process is they're using on these, because that is just super cool to get that much color. And how are we going to do this? Yeah, we'll get this stuff out, shake it up, the old Vibrotite. But I'm going to go really light on this knife because I just don't, well, Wii screws just don't need all this crap, really. But we're going to put just a little bit on just to make sure everything goes back together good and stays where it's supposed to be. And remember, these two pocket clip screws are two separate sizes, so keep them where they belong. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them right back in the holes they came out of so that I don't misplace them. And now, if you don't know, you got to wait a half an hour for that Vibrotite to clear. So, it's going to take you guys just a couple of seconds, but it's going to take me a half an hour for that Vibrotite to clear. So, I'm going to go ahead and clean everything else up, and I'll be back with you for the reassembly. Alright, guys. My 30 minutes are up. I know, it was just like a flash for you guys. Then we'll go ahead and start getting this guy put together. I did not take this side completely apart. So what we're going to do, we want the open side of these bearings, which is this side. We want that side down in those counterbores we talked about. So I'm going to lay this one right there with the open side of the bearing up. Dribble some lube down there. And then we're going to lay the knife blade over it, making sure that it covers that bearing just like that. And now that we've got that on there, now we're going to wrestle with this. And I say wrestle, hopefully, well, one more thing I about forgot. I forgot this more often than I should, but we've got that detent hole right there, and we're just going to put a little bit of the 85 weight oil in there. Why do I do that? Because, especially on a new knife, it just smooths things out a little bit. And now we get to see if all this lines up and goes down the way it's, and you know, we goofed up. I goofed up. You guys let me goof up again. Dadgummit. Alright, here we go. I gotta get that back off there. Because what did I do? Forgot to put the bearing in, guys. So it slid way, way, way down there, and that's not where we want it. It's going to come off this time a little easier. Alright, whew. Feeling better about that now. Not that I forgot, but feeling better about not having to pry it out of there because we put such tight tolerances and things. Alright, so we're going to put just a little bit of oil down in there. That'll get it around the actual pivot, and then we'll dribble just a little up there. I know we didn't do that on the other side, basically because we had gravity helping us out over there while we've got the knife laying like this. And we don't want to over oil it and make a big mess. So did we do that right? Yes, we got that bearing in there with the closed side of the race up. That's important. And wow. Snapped right down in there. I always love it when that happens. And so knife is good and solid now. Things snapped over here, and set our piece of G10 back over it. And we've got a screw somewhere here that we're going to stick in. I'm going to stick this one in back here just to keep everything square and where it's supposed to be. Get our T8 back out. I'm not going to tighten that guy up just yet. I have no fear that we has everything good and square and it's not a problem. But I've taken apart so many knives, I know that occasionally things are not as square as they should be. So we get all the screws in before we tighten things up. Usually not a problem with most middle and higher end production knives, but if you're taking apart older knives, be aware of that. You don't want to snug everything down right away because you may need to shift stuff around a little bit. Well, there we go. Let's see if we got it good. Looks like we're all centered up. Got just a little bit of play there, so we'll snug that pivot up just a little more. Play's gone. There you go. And that is what's inside the wee Practic. You guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check us out every week for the Apex News right here on the Zelrick YouTube channel. And I will see you next time.